setbacks, disappointments, and moments where you feel like everything is against you. That's a guarantee. But here's the real question. How do you respond? Do you let life break you, or do you use those challenges to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? Today we're tapping into Stoicism, a philosophy that transforms life's biggest obstacles into stepping stones. If you're feeling the weight of the world, you're in the right place. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, hitting that subscribe button is a simple, free way you can support us. Don't skip any part of today's video. Each piece of advice could be exactly what you need to turn things around. Stick with us, let's grow together, and forge an unbreakable spirit. Change is one of life's constants, yet for many of us, it's also one of the biggest sources of stress. Why do we struggle with something that is as natural as the changing seasons? The answer lies not in things themselves, but in our reactions to them. Stoicism, a philosophy known for promoting resilience and calm in the face of adversity, offers a powerful approach to embracing change. When life throws something new or unexpected our way, our first instinct might be resistance. This resistance comes from fear, the fear of the unknown, fear of loss, or fear of failure. But what if instead of resisting, we leaned into the change? Imagine how much energy we'd save and how much more peace we'd feel if we accepted change as part of the journey, not as an interruption. Stoicism teaches us to see change not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and learning. Consider the Stoic concept of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. This doesn't mean we have to be passive or simply resign ourselves to whatever happens. Rather, it's about a proactive love of whatever life brings. It means saying, whatever happens, I can work with this. It's a mindset that turns potential obstacles into opportunities. When you embrace change in this way, you align yourself with the flow of life, reducing internal conflict and increasing your capacity to handle whatever comes next. Moreover, Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing only on what is within our control. While we can't control when or how change happens, we can control our response to it. This is where the real power lies. By focusing on our responses, we reclaim control over our emotional landscape and open ourselves up to the full spectrum of experiences life offers. This doesn't mean the changes will always be easy or comfortable, but our response can make the journey less turbulent and more enriching. In practice, embracing change like a pro means developing flexibility in your thoughts and actions. It's about preparing to be unprepared, staying calm in the face of the unknown, and pivoting when necessary. It's about not holding on to past versions of yourself or outdated dreams, but instead constantly updating your understanding of who you are and what you can become. This can be as simple as adjusting your daily routine in response to new demands, or as profound as changing your career path or personal relationships in pursuit of authenticity and fulfillment. One practical step you can take is to regularly reflect on your experiences, especially challenging ones, to find lessons and insights. Ask yourself questions like, what is this situation teaching me? Or, how can I grow from this? These reflections can help solidify the habit of viewing change as a normal and beneficial part of life, rather than something to dread. Ever found yourself in the heat of an argument where words just fly out before you even get a chance to think? Or maybe you've been so overwhelmed by fear or excitement that it feels like your emotions are calling the shots, not you. We've all been there, and while it's perfectly human to feel deeply, letting emotions dictate your actions can lead you into chaos. This is where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can be a game changer. Stoicism doesn't tell us to suppress our feelings. Rather, it teaches us to understand and manage them, so they don't overpower our rational mind. The goal is to create a kind of mental fortitude that allows you to face life's ups and downs with composure and insight. The Stoics believe that by mastering our emotions, we can maintain our inner peace even in external chaos. They remind us that we have the ability to choose our responses to the feelings we experience. Let's break it down. Imagine you're faced with a situation that typically triggers anger or anxiety. The Stoic approach would have you first acknowledge that you're feeling this way. This is crucial because recognition is the first step toward transformation. Once you've identified the emotion, the next step is to question its origin and validity. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is my reaction proportionate to the situation? Often you'll find that the intensity of your emotion doesn't quite match the reality of the event. Another powerful Stoic strategy is to pause before reacting. This pause is your powerful tool. It's a moment of choice. In that brief gap between stimulus and response lies your freedom to choose a more considered, rational reaction. This doesn't mean you won't feel the emotion. You simply prevent it from leading to impulsive actions. For instance, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your immediate impulse might be to honk angrily or shout. Instead, a Stoic would take a deep breath, recognize the surge of anger, and choose a more measured response, perhaps dismissing the event as trivial in the grand scheme of life. This practice of managing responses doesn't just apply to negative emotions. Even overwhelming joy or excitement can cloud our judgment, leading to decisions we might later regret. The key is balance. By maintaining a steady emotional state, we ensure that our decisions are guided by wisdom and clarity, not by fleeting feelings. To really master this habit, it helps to engage in regular self-reflection. Reflect on times when you let your emotions control you and consider how you might handle similar situations differently in the future. This can be done through journaling, meditation, or simply thoughtful contemplation. The idea is to build a habit of mindful awareness around your emotional life. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of emotions. They come and go like waves on the shore. By remembering this, we can avoid getting too attached to or too disturbed by any particular feeling. We can observe our emotions without getting swept away by them. You know how it feels when you're stretched too thin. Maybe you found yourself agreeing to help with another project at work, even though your plate is already overflowing. Or you've said yes to a social event you're dreading because you felt too guilty to say no. We've all been there, but here's the thing. Spreading yourself too thin doesn't do you or anyone else any favors. This is where the Stoic principle of setting strong boundaries comes into play, teaching us that guarding our time and energy isn't just smart, it's necessary for our well-being. Stoicism teaches the importance of living according to nature, which includes understanding and respecting our own limits. Just as nature has its boundaries, the shore that stops the sea, the bark that shields the tree, so too must we define and defend our personal boundaries. These boundaries aren't about building walls. They're about defining where your responsibilities end and where your peace begins. Setting boundaries is really about understanding what you value most and making a commitment to protect that. For example, if one of your top values is family time, setting a boundary might mean not checking work emails during dinner. If personal growth is a priority, perhaps you set a boundary around morning time to read or meditate. The key here is that these aren't just preferences. They're non-negotiable parts of your day that enable you to live according to your values. The act of setting boundaries can often feel uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to asserting your needs. You might worry about how others will react or fear being seen as selfish. But remember, Stoicism isn't about pleasing others or meeting societal expectations. It's about living a life of virtue and personal integrity. The Stoics would argue that by respecting your own limits, you're better equipped to fulfill your role in society and contribute in more meaningful ways. To start setting effective boundaries, begin with small, manageable changes. Communicate your limits clearly and respectfully without feeling the need to over-explain or justify them. It's enough to say, "I'm not available at that time," or "I need to pass on this project to focus on my current responsibilities." As you practice, you'll find it becomes easier, and most people will respect your clarity and honesty. Another Stoic strategy is to regularly reflect on your interactions and how they align with your boundaries. Consider the times you felt resentment or exhaustion. These emotions are often signals that your boundaries are being violated. Use these insights to adjust your boundaries as needed, always with the goal of preserving your time and energy for what truly matters. Ultimately, Setting boundaries is about taking responsibility for your life and your happiness. It's a powerful assertion of your worth and priorities, and while it might be challenging at first, the more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift in your stress levels and overall happiness. You'll have more energy for the things you love, deeper connections with others, and a greater sense of control over your life. So remember, setting boundaries is not just a practical skill. It's a Stoic practice that enhances your ability to live a purposeful and peaceful life. By honoring your needs and limits, you're not only respecting yourself, but also setting the stage for healthier, more respectful relationships with others. It's tempting, isn't it? When things go wrong, maybe a project fails or a relationship falters, it's easy to blame, but through responsibility. Stoicism teaches us the power of focusing solely on what we can control. While the world may be unpredictable and often challenging, our reactions and actions remain our responsibility. This might sound a bit daunting at first, but there's incredible strength and freedom in realizing that you are the chief architect of your life. When you start taking ownership, you move from a passive state where things happen to you to an active state where you create your own path. Taking ownership means acknowledging that your decisions, your reactions, and your mindset all play a crucial role in how your life unfolds. For instance, if you're unhappy in your job, rather than lamenting your bad luck in landing that position, explore what actions you can take. Could you seek new skills, apply for a new role, or even discuss with your manager about changes that could improve your situation? The Stoic approach is not about resignation, but about proactive engagement with life's challenges. A key part of this is also owning your mistakes. We all make them, and frankly, it's one of the most human things about us. However, the difference lies in how we handle these slip-ups. Do we ignore them, blame others, or do we face them head-on? Fundamentally Stoic, placing you firmly in the driver's seat of your life. And that's a place of real power. It's with changing how we talk to ourselves. Imagine a scenario where you've made a mistake. Instead of spiraling into self-critique, pause and ask yourself, what would I say to a friend in this situation? You'd likely offer words of comfort or encouragement. Now offer those words to yourself. This simple shift can significantly change your emotional response. It helps to reduce and encourage bearing life's challenges with dignity and grace. Another important aspect of self-compassion is mindfulness. This means being present with your feelings without over-identifying with them. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our negative thoughts and emotions with detachment, as if we are a third party looking in. From this viewpoint, we can see our feelings for what they are, temporary and not defining of our worth or capabilities. The Stoics were big on using mindfulness to maintain emotional equilibrium. By focusing on the present and taking a logical view of events and their impact, we can cultivate a healthier relationship with ourselves. To cultivate self-compassion, try setting aside time for regular reflection. Reflect on your day and identify moments when you were hard on yourself. Consider how you might handle similar situations in the future with more kindness. Additionally, integrating practices like journaling or meditation can enhance your awareness and ability to apply self-compassion in real-time challenges. Practicing self-compassion isn't about coddling yourself. It's about acknowledging your humanity, your imperfections included, and treating yourself with the same respect and kindness you would show others. It's about being your own ally in times of struggle, which aligns closely with Stoic teachings about self-mastery and resilience. So next time you catch yourself being your own worst critic, remember to extend to yourself the compassion you would to a friend. This shift not only improves your relationship with yourself, but also enhances your overall resilience, allowing you to face life's challenges with greater calm and confidence. Isn't it true that the more you learn,